Have you ever witnessed a family fractured, not by a sudden argument, but by a document intended to bring closure? They say all children are loved equally. But what happens when a parent's final wishes, seemingly fair on the surface, unravel a lifetime of dedication and leave an indelible scar? Stay with me, because today we're diving into a powerful true story. A story about a 75-year-old mother's will, a decision she believed was just, and how it catastrophically impacted her daughter's future. This isn't just a tale of inheritance. It's a profound look at love, fairness, and the invisible bonds that hold families together or tear them apart. It's a conversation every parent, every child, truly needs to hear. Let me introduce you to Eleanor, a woman in her late 70s, bright-eyed and sharp-witted, living a quiet life. She had 2 children, Sarah, her diligent, kind daughter, and Michael, her charming, though somewhat less attentive son. Both loved their mother, of course, but their expressions of that love and their involvement in Eleanor's daily life were vastly different. Sarah, a mother herself, always prioritized her mother's well-being. She was there for the doctor's appointments, the grocery runs, the endless phone calls, and the comforting presence on lonely evenings. When Eleanor faced a period of declining health, it was Sarah who adjusted her own life, sacrificing her personal time and often her family's needs to provide daily care. She cooked, cleaned, managed medications, and was simply there, a constant, steady hand. Michael, on the other hand, visited when he could, usually for holidays or special occasions. He'd call periodically, offer financial help if needed, though it rarely was, thanks to Sarah's practical care, and always brought a laugh and a story. Eleanor adored him, her lively boy, just as she adored her steadfast girl. She saw their contributions differently, perhaps. Michael, the son, needed a boost. Sarah, married and seemingly settled, was already provided for. Or so Eleanor thought. When Eleanor passed away peacefully in her sleep, a wave of grief washed over the family. Amidst the sorrow, the question of her will eventually arose. Eleanor had always been a private person, so her wishes were unknown until the lawyers' meeting. The room felt heavy as the words were read. Her modest home, her savings, her few valuable possessions, almost all of it was left to Michael. Sarah listened, her heart sinking, not just from the financial shock, but from the raw, burning sting of what felt like a dismissal. "All to Michael," the will declared, with a small, almost apologetic note for Sarah. "My daughter, Sarah, is well cared for by her husband." A chill ran down Sarah's spine. Well cared for? Was her worth, her years of devotion, simply erased by her marital status? In the initial days after the will was read, Sarah tried to understand, to rationalize. Perhaps Michael had debts Eleanor knew about. Perhaps she truly believed Sarah was financially secure. But a quiet, gnawing resentment began to fester. She saw Michael, who had contributed far less to their mother's daily comfort and care, now sitting on the inheritance, while she, who had poured her heart and soul into Eleanor's final years, was left with nothing but memories and a profound sense of injustice. Life, as it often does, continued its relentless march. For a while, things were stable for Sarah. She continued her quiet life, the will a painful memory she tried to bury. But then, as often happens in life's unpredictable journey, a storm hit. Her husband faced an unexpected, debilitating illness that led to significant medical bills and eventually early retirement with reduced income. Their nest egg, once seemingly solid, began to dwindle rapidly. Sarah found herself in a desperate situation. The financial strain was immense, the future uncertain. She thought of Michael, of the inheritance. Surely he would help his sister in her time of need, especially given the circumstances of their mother's will. She reached out hesitantly, explaining her plight. Michael was sympathetic, he said. He expressed his sorrow for her husband's illness, but when it came to offering tangible financial support, he hesitated. He had already invested the inheritance, he explained, or used it for a down payment on a new car, or put it towards his children's education. The money, the tangible representation of their mother's final wishes, was gone, integrated into his life, and now seemingly inaccessible. The devastation Sarah felt was twofold. Not only was she struggling financially, but the emotional blow was even more profound. She realized that not only had her mother's will left her out, But it had also, in a cruel twist, contributed to her brother's inability or unwillingness to step up when she desperately needed him. She was left alone, facing hardship, with the bitter taste of being forgotten, dismissed, and ultimately left vulnerable by the very document that should have solidified family bonds, not broken them. This, dear friends, is where the story of Eleanor, Sarah, and Michael transcends a single family and touches upon a universal human truth. It exposes a profound flaw in how we often approach the delicate act of estate planning. We think of wills as merely logistical documents, a distribution of assets, but they are so much more. They are a parent's final message, their last act of love, recognition, and often their last opportunity to secure the future for all their children. Is it truly fair to base such life-altering decisions on outdated notions of gender roles or assumptions about who needs what? Is an equal division always an equitable one? This is a question that, when truly pondered, can ignite a cognitive explosion, shifting our perspective entirely. The traditional view often dictates that sons should inherit the bulk, especially if they are seen as the head of the family or carrying on the name. Daughters, especially married ones, are often presumed to be taken care of. But life, as Sarah's story vividly shows, rarely adheres to such neat assumptions. The emotional legacy of a will can far outweigh its financial implications. For Sarah, the lack of inheritance wasn't just about money. It was about feeling unseen, unvalued, and ultimately abandoned by her own mother's final act. It was a wound that cut deeper than any financial loss, scarring her relationship with her brother and her perception of her own worth within the family. It highlighted the profound difference between a parent's intention and the actual impact of their decisions. So let's unpack this with some crucial discussion points. First, should parents consider their children's actual needs and past contributions, not just gender or traditional roles, when planning their estate? Think about the child who dedicated years to caregiving, sacrificing their own career or personal life. Should their silent, unwavering support be overlooked in favor of a rigid, equal split or an outdated notion of who deserves what? True fairness often means acknowledging the unequal efforts and needs that naturally arise within a family over time. It's about equity, not just equality. Second, how can a will truly reflect love and fairness to all children? It's not just about splitting assets down the middle. It's about understanding the unique circumstances of each child. Perhaps one child has a disability and will face lifelong medical expenses. Perhaps another has dedicated their life to public service and has fewer financial resources. A truly loving will considers these nuanced realities. It's about securing a stable future for everyone, ensuring that no child feels overlooked or left vulnerable, and acknowledging their individual journeys and contributions. This might involve setting up trusts, providing specific legacies, or even involving professional financial advisors to navigate complex family dynamics. And third, and perhaps most vitally, how should children communicate and understand each other regarding parental care and inheritance before a crisis hits? Open dialogue is often the missing piece. Families need to talk about caregiving, about financial needs, about expectations, and yes, even about parental wishes if the parents are open to it. This isn't about demanding an inheritance, it's about fostering transparency, managing expectations, and preventing the kind of devastating misunderstandings that can erupt after a parent is gone. It's about acknowledging the emotional labor involved in caregiving and ensuring that this labor is valued, whether through explicit arrangements or simply through genuine appreciation. Dear friends, if you're finding this conversation thought-provoking, please take a moment to hit the like button. It helps this vital message reach more families who need to hear it, and it allows me to continue bringing you these crucial life insights. Your engagement is what makes this channel a space for genuine growth and reflection. Remember, a parent's decisions about asset distribution are far more than just material arrangements. They are deeply intertwined with emotions, family ties, and the long-term well-being of their children. The story of Eleanor and Sarah serves as a powerful, albeit painful reminder that our choices, especially those made in the twilight of life, can have lifelong impacts, echoing through generations, shaping not just financial security, but emotional legacies. So, what does this story make you think? What is the most important factor for parents to consider when dividing assets among their children? Is it equality, equity, or something else entirely? Join the discussion in the comments below. Share your thoughts, your experiences, and your insights. Your perspective could be the very thing another family needs to hear. And please, share this video with friends, with family. It might just offer them valuable insights and spark a much-needed conversation that could prevent future heartache. Until next time, let us all strive to live with wisdom, empathy, and an open heart.